How to speed read people book summary. Analyze yourself first. Have you ever wished you could understand people better? Or perhaps you faced that uncomfortable moment when your first impression went utterly wrong. The answer often lies within you. Before attempting to interpret others, you must first better understand yourself. Think about it. Your perceptions are constantly filtered through your own biases, making self-awareness the first critical step in accurately reading others. Suppose you grew up in a family where openly expressing your emotions was discouraged. In that case, you might misinterpret a stoic person as cold or uncaring when they could simply be restrained and calm. The language of human connection is spoken fluently by those who understand themselves. From ancient Greece's theory of humorism to Freud's structural model of the id, ego, and superego, humans have long sought to understand the mysteries of personality and behavior. This summary provides practical advice, drawing on insights from psychology and communication studies to help you quickly and accurately assess others' behavior. So are you ready to sharpen your social perception, understand people on a whole new level, and predict their actions? Put these techniques into practice. Stay tuned for the Try This section at the end to learn more. What your body says. The human body is constantly communicating, even when the mouth is closed. This nonverbal language is often unconscious and reveals a wealth of information about a person's thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Learning to decipher these signals is like gaining access to a hidden communication channel, providing invaluable insights into the people around us. Consider a job interview. A candidate might provide the correct answers, but their fidgeting hands, averted gaze, and tense posture could betray their underlying nerves or lack of confidence. Conversely, someone who maintains steady eye contact, sits upright, and gestures naturally projects an air of composure and self-assurance. These nonverbal cues often speak louder than words, providing a glimpse into a person's inner emotional state and unspoken thoughts. For example, facial expressions like micro-expressions are fleeting, automatic reactions that reveal concealed emotions like a momentary flash of fear, anger, or sadness. Without training, these brief signals are nearly impossible to detect. Macro-expressions are more obvious reactions like sustained smiles, frowns, or grimaces, which are often more easily consciously controlled. Interpret body language within context and observe unusual behavior patterns. A few gestures won't tell the whole story. Let's dive deeper into the body signals and their possible meanings. Smiling. Genuine smiles activate the muscles around the eyes to create a crow's feet look, while forced smiles are often asymmetrical and don't involve these muscles. Eye contact. Sustained eye contact can signal confidence or interest. Avoidance may suggest shyness, insecurity, or deception. Mirroring. Subtly matching another's body language suggests connection and rapport. Leg movements. Bouncing legs usually signify nervousness or impatience. Pointing a foot toward the exit could be interpreted as a wish to leave, while tapping feet can show impatience or anxiety. Self-soothing behaviors. Actions like touching the neck or face and adjusting clothing signal discomfort or anxiety. Leaning. Leaning towards someone signifies interest or engagement. Leaning away can indicate discomfort or defensiveness. The degree of leaning can also convey the intensity of the feeling. Torso orientation. The direction a person's torso faces indicates where they direct attention, either towards someone they're interested in or away from someone they're avoiding. Remember that not every pose or behavior can signal an expression of hidden emotions. Sometimes, crossed arms are simply a comfortable position, not a sign of defensiveness. Expose hidden emotions. Understanding human behavior requires moving beyond surface-level observations. While people may consciously express certain feelings, their inner emotional state often stays hidden, revealed through subtle nonverbal cues and unexpected reactions. Therefore, this deeper understanding relies heavily on emotional intelligence, the ability to perceive, understand, manage, and use emotions effectively. Emotional intelligence, as conceptualized by Daniel Goleman, encompasses 4 components. 1. Self-awareness. This aspect is the foundation of emotional intelligence. It involves recognizing your emotions and their impact. Self-aware people are attuned to their physical sensations, mood fluctuations, and emotional triggers. For example, you can notice stress before a presentation and acknowledge its effect on concentration. 2. Self-management. This domain involves the ability to regulate your emotions effectively. As it relates to taking initiative, being flexible, adjusting to changing circumstances, and remaining optimistic, it involves consciously choosing how to react. You can take deep breaths to calm down before speaking to someone who upsets you. 1. Self-motivation. This factor means using emotions to set and achieve goals, like harnessing your excitement to work efficiently toward a project deadline. Self-motivation begins with recognizing your intrinsic desires and values. What truly excites you? What gives you a sense of purpose and fulfillment? 2. Social awareness. This entails understanding the emotions of others. An example would be recognizing a colleague's frustration in their body language and offering support. Socially aware individuals can pick up on subtle verbal and nonverbal cues and adjust their behavior accordingly. Through our behavior and choice of words, we transmit clues and desperately hope people pick up on them. Another particularly illuminating approach for uncovering hidden emotions involves analyzing humor. A person's sense of humor reveals a lot about their values, beliefs, and even their psychological health. According to research, humor acts as a window to the unconscious mind, reflecting what a person finds acceptable or comforting. For example, someone who consistently finds humor in aggressive, cynical, or sarcastic jokes might be harboring unresolved anger or a cynical outlook on life. The types of jokes someone shares, those that resonate with them, and the circumstances surrounding their laughter give strong indicators of their values and authentic self. Pay attention to both what people say and how they say it. Notice both what's spoken and unspoken. Did you know? The halo effect describes how a positive impression in one area can influence a person's overall perception, even in unrelated areas. This tendency has wide-ranging implications in decision-making. Read Ask between the lines. Ever felt like someone wasn't telling you the whole story? Direct questions often yield superficial answers, masking deeper truths. To gain genuine insight, you must move beyond simple inquiries and develop the art of strategic questioning. A carefully crafted indirect question can reveal underlying beliefs and motivations. For instance, rather than simply asking someone, "Are you happy with your job?" consider asking them, "What does your typical workday look like? Which parts do you find most fulfilling or frustrating?" This indirect approach often reveals much more about someone's true feelings than a simple yes or no response. Direct questions might prompt socially desirable answers or trigger defensiveness. By exploring situations and observing behaviors instead, you'll gain richer and more truthful insights into someone's true values and principles. We need to remember that most people have spent their lives mastering the art of concealing their raw, unfiltered emotional expression. Furthermore, introspective exercises like the Carl Jung-inspired personality test can supplement this questioning process and tell a hidden story that might not readily surface through conscious self-reflection. The test's 4 prompts and their interpretations are: 1. Favorite color. This question aims to tap into self-perception. The chosen color reflects how a person consciously or unconsciously views their personality, strengths, and weaknesses. Warm colors are often associated with extroversion and energy, while cool and neutral ones can indicate introversion or analytical nature. 2. Favorite animal. Inquire about their favorite animal to see how this person perceives others or the world. For example, a wolf might exhibit loyalty and a pack mentality, while a lion might demonstrate feelings of dominance or protectiveness. 3. Favorite body of water. Next, ask about the subject's favorite body of water, such as an ocean, lake, or river. The associated metaphor serves as an indicator of the subject's view of love and their relationship dynamics. A serene lake could indicate a need for relationship stability, while a raging ocean might reflect a more turbulent relationship style. 4. White room. Lastly, ask them to imagine a completely white room and select only 3 words to describe the feelings it evokes or the atmosphere of this empty white space. These words often reflect a person's unconscious feelings about death, mortality, and the unknown. Personal stories reveal more about character than direct answers ever could. When you know where to look, the secret to analyzing human behavior is simpler than you think. Keep going. The The tailored checklist at the end will teach you exactly where to start. Understand motivation. Predict behavior. Human behavior might seem random or unpredictable, but it is determined mainly by what influences decision-making, seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. This approach applies to both physical and psychological experiences. People naturally seek things that bring comfort, satisfaction, and well-being while avoiding things that cause discomfort, stress, or harm. Yet ego defense mechanisms complicate this basic pleasure-pain calculation. These mechanisms, developed as coping strategies, can lead to behaviors that appear irrational. They constantly work to protect you from psychological threats that may jeopardize your sense of self-worth, sometimes even bending reality and triggering lies outside your conscious awareness. With this knowledge, you can understand why people do what they do and what motivates them. Here are some examples of ego defense mechanisms. Denial. This occurs when someone refuses to acknowledge painful realities, like an alcoholic who denies their problem despite evidence of severe consequences. Repression. The mind unconsciously pushes disturbing thoughts or memories out of awareness. For example, a person who experienced childhood trauma has no conscious memory of the event. Rationalization. People often create seemingly logical reasons to justify unacceptable behaviors. A student might cheat on a test and justify it by claiming that everyone else also does it. Projection. This defense emerges when individuals attribute their unacceptable thoughts or feelings to others. A cheating partner might constantly accuse their spouse of infidelity, projecting their own guilt and anxiety onto them. Sublimation. Here, the person channels unacceptable impulses into positive activities. For instance, an anxious person might clean the entire house to transfer negative energy into a useful activity. Reaction formation. This pattern appears when someone adopts behaviors opposite to their personal feelings. For instance, someone with intense anger toward their family can become overly caring and attentive, showering them with excessive gifts and affection. Regression. This response occurs when individuals revert to childlike behaviors to cope with stress. In this state, an adult can throw a tantrum when feeling frustrated. Analyzing these ego defense mechanisms clarifies the overall motivation picture, helping to explain people's behaviors more clearly. Unconsciously buried memories resurface in unexpected ways, the echoes of childhood. If you want to understand someone better, ask them about their childhood. These early years can notably shape a person's values, beliefs, and emotional responses, affecting how they navigate the world as adults. This impact is mainly from attachment styles, patterns developed during your early interactions with primary caregivers, and further shaped by their parenting style. Attachment theory posits that a person's early relationships establish mental representations of themselves and others, which shape their expectations and behaviors in subsequent relationships. Parenting styles play an essential role in shaping attachment security. Authoritative parenting, which is characterized by warmth, high expectations, and clear communication, typically fosters secure attachment. Conversely, authoritarian, permissive, or neglectful parenting styles are more likely to produce insecure attachments. Therefore, your primary caregiver's consistency, sensitivity, and responsiveness heavily influence your future social interactions. Early childhood experiences can build or break your capacity for trust in adult relationships. Let's explore more about attachment styles. Secure attachment. This style forms in children whose parents consistently met their emotional needs and offered reliable support. People with secure attachments feel comfortable with intimacy and independence. They trust their partners, communicate openly, and can manage conflict constructively. Anxious preoccupied attachment. This pattern develops due to inconsistent parenting, where caregivers alternate between being responsive and neglectful. People with an anxious preoccupied style crave intimacy but worry about rejection. They often seek constant reassurance and validation from their partners and may struggle with self-esteem. Dismissive avoidant attachment. This dynamic emerges when parents remain emotionally unavailable or rejecting, leading children to suppress emotions and prioritize independence. People with a dismissive avoidant mentality suppress their feelings and may appear cold or detached in relationships. They may have difficulty expressing their needs or seeking emotional support. Fearful avoidant attachment. This behavior stems from frightening, unpredictable, or even abusive parenting. People with a fearful avoidant style have a strong desire for intimacy coupled with a deep fear of it. They often experience internal conflict and send mixed signals in their relationships. Recognizing the influence of attachment styles and parenting styles isn't about blaming the past, but understanding how early experiences shape your present-day relationships and choices. This knowledge empowers you to develop more conscious self-awareness and deeply understand others. Try this time. So here we are. It's time to put your skills to the test. These simple, everyday exercises will train your eye for hidden emotions and unspoken truths to becoming a people-reading pro. Start with yourself. Spend 5 minutes in front of a mirror today. Practice noticing your body language when expressing certain emotions, such as frustration, excitement, or calm. How do your shoulders, hands, and facial muscles react? Having this insight is your foundation for recognizing the same in others. Create a baseline buddy. Choose someone you interact with often, such as a friend, coworker, or partner, and quietly observe their habits, gestures, and tone of voice over the next week. Use this as their baseline so you can later spot subtle shifts that reveal how they're really feeling. Ask bold questions. At least once this week, ask an insightful question during a conversation like, "How did that make you feel?" Or, "Why do you think that mattered to you?" Pay close attention to their immediate, unfiltered reaction before they compose themselves. Play the emotional detective. After asking bold questions, listen closely to what isn't said. A quick laugh, a delayed answer, or folded arms could all hint at deeper emotions they're not putting into words. Wrap up your day with reflection. At the end of the day, reflect on one interesting interaction. Write down one behavior you noticed and what you think it meant. Then, reflect on whether you missed or misread any cues. Over time, this will fine-tune your intuition. These steps aren't just about reading people, they're about building empathy and deeper connections in your daily life. With each interaction, you'll uncover layers of meaning you never noticed before.